There is so much that I would love to show you, but of course, courtesy of being on social media, you can't really show everything. So I guess we'll just have to kind of talk about it. Here is a little life update since having a double mastectomy. Okay, so let's just start off with the obvious. This year has just been, y'all, it's been a year. Okay, it's morning, we're having coffee together. So if you didn't know, go ahead, grab your coffee. We're not like sipping on any hot tea or anything like that this morning. We absolutely saved that for the podcast, which of course is going to be involved in the update. But let's get into it. I am about 5 months out from having my double mastectomy. I had it done June 5th, 2023, and it was successful. I did start the reconstruction process immediately following. So they put in expanders, and I got to tell them exactly when I wanted them to stop, and everything went smooth. I literally have no complaints except for the fact that I hate my expanders. But that is not the surgeon's fault. That's no one's fault. That is just how it feels on the inside. So these are like my boobs that I'm like over here jostling in front of you. And again, surgery went off without a hitch. No complaints. I had the best surgeons in the world, and I definitely stand on that. My plastic surgeon is Dr. Alan Larson, based out of Buckhead Plastic Surgery. And then I also saw Dr. Jane Wu, who is my breast tissue specialist. Both of them, fantastic. I've done my checkups. Everything looks good. My scars have healed amazingly. So what are next steps based off of that? On December 26th, I'm having my final surgery where the final and official implants will be put in. The expanders that they put in are like a harder plastic, and they are like sewn into the muscle. Yes, this sounds painful because it does not feel the greatest. So they're kind of like tacked in to the tissue or to the muscle tissue so they don't like shift or move out of place. And it took me about a month and a half probably to get to the size that I felt the most comfortable. When my husband and I started dating, I was like a B cup, and that was kind of where I'd been most of my life. The only time that I've gone up is with weight gain or with pregnancy and when I was breastfeeding. When I had the surgery, I was a D cup. And so now I'm about a C cup, and I felt like that was the most comfortable for me because I knew I wanted to be a little bit bigger than a B, but I didn't want to be as big as a D cup. And I know that I probably could have gone larger based off of my size right now, but your girl is actively trying to lose weight. So I didn't want to base it on my size right now. I know that's like far-fetched, right? Because like who doesn't want big boobs? Me. I don't want back problems. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I didn't want any of that. So December 26th is when I get my official like implants put in, and I'm very, very excited because if I'm being completely honest, it is extremely uncomfortable having these expanders in. It has made me super hypersensitive and hyper aware of all of my movements, of what it feels like to be touched, everything like that. But speaking of touch, I don't really have very much feeling. I'm still like a little numb, and I know that my nerve endings are growing back. I can actively feel them growing back. I know that sounds really weird, and it's like, okay, so what does that feel like, Aronica? What that feels like for me is they're like tiny little explosions in my breast area. And I wouldn't say that it hurts, but it doesn't feel the greatest. That is a little discomfort, but I welcome it because not having feeling in my breast is something that affected me way more than I had actually anticipated. I thought that it would not matter to me. I don't actually know what I thought, come to think of it, because I don't feel like I was actually fully prepared for that. Like I knew that there would be some tissue, or rather some sensitivity loss, obviously, because we're having major surgery there, right? And we know that nerve endings are affected, but I don't know what I was expecting. I don't have any of like the phantoms, itching, or anything like that, which I'm actually really happy about because some friends of mine who have also had the surgery done are like, yeah, the phantom itching is the worst. And I'm like, could not be me at all. Why? Because even if I have the bare minimum of scratching or like itchiness anywhere, my hand, my feet, my leg, I have to scratch. I have the willpower of a 2-year-old. I have to scratch. I've got to get rid of the itch. So I'm really happy that I don't have any of that phantom itching, because y'all, I swear that would be the thing that sent me over. Just keeping it real. So what else? Has it affected my sex life? It has not affected my sex life. I still feel sexy with my husband. I still want to have sex. I do think that the lack of sensation has affected things. Now, I did do a free nipple graft, and with the free nipple graft, I actually have my nipples, except during the healing process, a huge chunk of your nipple falls off. This is all something that I was expecting. Fine. I did do the areola repigmentation. I went to my girl, and her name is Cherlin. It's spelled like Sherilyn, but it's pronounced Cherlin. So I went to my girl Cherlin at the Swan Plastic Surgery Center here in like the Alpharetta area of Atlanta. And hands down best, right? She went to a school where they actually specialize in the repigmentation process for Black and people of color. So I felt like I got the best service as that goes. That is not a one and done type of situation. I've already had 2 appointments with her. I'm going to follow back up with her after I've healed from my December 26th surgery. But she's been fantastic. She actually had some family members who have gone through this, and so she was able to share a lot of insights with me during my appointments. So hands down, definitely a great decision. So that leads me to the rest of health-wise. So when you have BRCA2, or when you test positive for BRCA2, it not only makes you more susceptible to, of course, breast cancer, but it also makes you more susceptible to the ovarian cancer. Now, initially, I was like, yeah, I'll just get my ovaries removed in 2024. We're going to keep it pushing, right? Because we're chasing health, we're chasing wellness, we're trying to be alive. But the healing from this double mastectomy has been a lot. It's been a lot. And I think that the hardest part is that the world continues to go, and you're sitting here, and I make no promises that I will not cry during this, but you're sitting here still like trying to recover from something so major in your life. My nerves have been really, really raw, not just like physically in my body, but like mentally and emotionally. And there's a lot of things that I feel like have affected me a lot more than they would have if I hadn't have the surgery done, or if I wasn't dealing with things, right? And it's just odd because, and I don't want to say odd, and I'm dancing around a lot, and I'm doing that intentionally, but I will say that when you have a major surgery in your life, just because you heal physically fine from it doesn't mean the rest of you has kind of caught up with it. Having big surgeries like this, and someone explained it to me like, you were amputated, like you had 2 pieces of your body amputated off. And, you know, if you had, say, like your leg amputated every day, people would see it and people would notice and people would make space for that. But when you do something like a mastectomy with reconstruction, it's like all of that kind of gets forgotten. And because you appear normal, like my appearance, you wouldn't be able to tell that I had it done. So it's almost like because of that, people keep navigating spaces with you as though it didn't happen. And I have to be honest, that that's been really hard. For a long time, I couldn't really hug my kids. And my son loves to give these super big, tight hugs where he runs and jumps into your arms. And my daughter loves to hug, like hugs are her love language. And, you know, emotionally, mentally, etc., it takes a toll on you that you can't do these things. I don't really have pictures to show from post-surgery because, if I'm being honest, it's not something I wanted to remember. Like, it's not something that I was like, oh, I'm gonna look back at this picture and be like, girl, you did that. That's not how I felt going through it. There were minimal photos. Like, I took video and I shared on TikTok, and that was about it. Um, do I regret going through with it? I don't regret that at all. Still happy that I made the decision. I do wish that there were more resources out there with just the honest um, feeling surrounding it, talking more about the healing process, talking more about the loss of sensation, talking more about um, the emotional, mental aspect of it. And I get it. Everyone heals differently and not everybody goes through things the same way, you know? But most of the blog posts and things like that I found are really just trying to push products and sell things. And that's why I wrote a blog post about questions that people may have going into this sort of thing. And I was honest about it. I think I might have recommended one or two products. I will say that I have been using Active Skin Repair. I will put a picture right here and I will drop my affiliate link here below, because hands down, this is probably the only product that I think I could recommend through this process. As far as clothing goes, my favorite things to wear were lightweight cotton tank tops from Parade. And it's called like Cloudwear or something like that. It's so light, it's so breathable. Like most of mine are now stained with, of course, like the Aquaphor and stuff like that I had to use on my nipples. But the tank tops were hands down like the one thing that I really felt the most comfortable in, because I have been hypersensitive to things like clothing. Now getting dressed and wearing bras and stuff like that, I don't like the way the underwire feels on me. It's not that it hurts, but it just, I don't know, it's like a little PTSD. It's like, oh, it could hurt. You know what I mean? But outside of that, like everything is normal-ish or not at all. So that is that. I will not be having my ovaries removed next year. Ultimately, again, like I said, because it has to do with just this whole healing process, I do think that I would go about things differently, you know, when the time comes to have that. So the thing about having your ovaries removed is that it immediately sends you into menopause. And I don't want to be in menopause right now. It's just a lot, you know. You've got to make sure that you have to make sure that you've got your hormone therapy replacement down. I would like to do a lot more research. I would like to do a lot more talking to doctors, a lot more talking to people, period, before I make that decision. So 2024, not happening at all. I will definitely continue to meet with my doctor, continue to monitor, to continue to make sure everything is fine, because ovarian cancer is definitely the silent killer. There's no way to tell if you have tumors without going to the doctor. That's it. Like you can't tell, you can't do like checks, you can't touch. So I will definitely be making sure that I do my due diligence to make sure that that is taken care of, though. On to some other life updates now that I have cried about this, right? Let's just like take a sippy sip, okay? So I talked about the podcast. The podcast is going really well. You guys, I have wanted to start a podcast for a really long time. And I've wanted to do it, but I was so scared. I was like, oh my goodness, what about the editing? I am not an editor. Like, I am not. Your girl just be doing the best that she can with what she got, okay? So I will say that I have been enjoying doing this podcast. Not only have I enjoyed the process of doing the podcast, but I co-host with my dear friend Julian from Julian Creates, and I've really loved even learning more about him. Like, we became I wouldn't even say fast friends, and I've shared the story a dozen times on how we like became friends. But we didn't really get to know like the background of who we were outside of sewing. So it's been really cool getting to know him, and we'll be starting to schedule out guests through the month of December so that we can start to have some guests up on the show. But like, it's been really cool, and I've just really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed creating this dope space, you know what I mean? The audacity is definitely something that is a passion project, and you can find it. I was able to get it up everywhere but YouTube. And it's not that I wasn't able to get up on YouTube, but I'm just like baby steps, y'all, baby steps. Like I'm still wrapping up building out the website and stuff like that. But it's been a really fun, really fun project. I think that since the last time I gave like a life update, I think I maybe had one pattern that was out for indie patterns, and that was the Cali. Since then, I've also done the Aurora, which y'all, the Aurora is such a good pattern. It's a jumpsuit, and I get it. Not everybody wants to be like undressing to go to the bathroom, whatevs. But it's a fantastic pattern. Okay. I also just released the Primrose sweatshirt, and it's fantastic. Like it is giving, yes, this is a hoodie, but also we've got some fancy sleeves. Okay. I love it so much. I didn't even think that it was going to become a hoodie. But then Megan, who owns Made for Mermaids, was like, girl, I think we should add a hood. And I was like, let's do it. And so we did. Fantastic. So we're obviously in November. New Pattern November is still happening. Definitely make sure you check out the playlist for New Pattern November to keep up. I'm still working on getting some prizes and stuff like that. At this point in time, I'm pretty sure that they'll mostly come from me, which is fine because I definitely want to reward people for, doing New Pattern November. Very excited for people to be trying out new patterns. So I'll be doing some giveaways and some things like that. So there is that. I am thinking, oh no, I have goals though, y'all. So the pandemic, I feel like I've talked about this as well, but I do feel like the pandemic robbed me of my creativity. It robbed me of a lot of things that I'm just now getting back. So we're towards the end of the year, November. We've got 2 months left, not even 2 whole months, a month and a half left of this month. My goal is to have my channel completely monetized by then. I need about 1,500 more views or 1,500 more hours of views in order to do that. So if you are watching this and you made it this far, please just like binge watch my content. Let my content play on the TV, but like look out for your girl. My other goal is to grow my Instagram account, my Needle in the Bell Instagram account to 20K. We're at 17.1, and I honestly feel like this is a doable goal, right? I just need a couple of reels that go do really well, and we got it, right? No pressure. So those are 2 big goals that I have for myself for the end of the year. Really proud of myself for setting those goals. As I wrap up this year, I'm really focusing on fully immersing myself in learning. One of the things that I have really found through this process of healing, through this process of even accepting the fact that sewing and the sewing space is where I want to be and where I want to be working, where I want to turn the income from. So and y'all keep asking me to teach. So I'm doing a lot of focused learning right now so that I can see how other instructors are just setting up their lessons, and to just kind of see what fits best with how I work, what my workflow is, what my space is, and that sort of thing. So I'm excited about that. I do know that we will be doing a class very soon. Today I'm actually working on scheduling out classes, but we will be doing a class very soon that is on how to make your own like tailor's hem for bras. So really excited about that. It's something that I probably should have done when I came out with my bustier pattern, but we're here now. We're going for it right now, right? It's never too soon to seize or it's never too late to seize the opportunity. No one said that. I just said that just now though. So you're welcome. But yeah, those are some life updates. This year has been tough, and I will say that one of the reasons why I've been able to make it through, of course, not just because of my family, my husband, my kids, and stuff like that, but it's also because of this really dope ass community that I have created, and that you all have joined me in, and that you guys are a part of. I really appreciate you showing up for me. I appreciate you all bringing my name up in rooms that I'm not in. I appreciate you all, just really inviting me into, even your own spaces and into your mind and into your heart. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, so until next time, cheers.